Read the index card for me.
She wore a suit, clothes that were. Who's this for? Extraordinary, but somewhat Gertrude?
Now explain what that means.
I don't know.
She wore a sahalat of clothes that were extraordinary, whatever, bro, but somewhat gooch.
What does that mean?
She wore a lot. Wait, she wore. Bro, I don't know, bro. Can you take the card back, please?
She wore a. Oh, baby. She wore a silhouette of clothes that were. Bitch, I don't know that word. I don't even know how to read. I don't know why I do this.
She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary, but somewhat gauche.
All right, now what does that mean?
I have no idea. Like his clothes was nice or something like.
She wore a. I don't know what this shit say. I don't know what this shit say. I don't know what this shit say. I can't read it. Can't read it.
What the Hi, it's me, Carlton Leroy Lee, and this is Black Boys Guide. I don't even know where to start. This is I don't even know where to start, honestly, I don't. The first thing is I'm not here to make fun of any of the children that were unable to read that because it's not really their fault. This is not to shame or blame. I honestly don't know where to start, and I don't know what I'm doing. So hi, welcome. I did not think this was gonna be the first episode, but I feel like it's going to be one of the most important ones to kind of kickstart off what we're going to be doing. Here at Black Boys Guide, just understand that we're not gonna get to everything. There's gonna be a bunch of things that we miss, so that's kind of like the point of ongoing learning, and that's just kind of the point of learning in general. Like, hopefully you get to the point where you want to learn more. For those who don't know, the card says she wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary but somewhat gauche, which I believe that's gauche. It could be gauche. Honestly, I don't know that. Is that gauche? Gauche? While I'm sitting here talking about them, I'm gonna talk about myself. I think it's gauche, because that's, yeah, gauche. Oh wow. So honestly, she wore a silhouette of clothes, but that were extraordinary, but somewhat gauche. From first glance, you know, not only is he asking them to read it, which we're gonna definitely dive into that, but he also wants them to explain what it means after they're done. So I'm going to try to explain it to the best of my ability from what I just know from being able to use deductive reasoning and critical thinking and just all these things. She wore a silhouette of clothes. So that means that she wore clothing that I'm assuming fit in a particular way, that were extraordinary. So therefore they were extraordinary. So therefore they stood out, but somewhat gauche. Gauche for me is, I think it means like what, classless. I don't know these things. Once again, I've never looked up silhouette, extraordinary, and or gauche. To be completely honest, I've never seen gauche spelled out. It's just from, I don't know. Silhouette, I think we all kind of know what a silhouette is. I mean, I think the technical term of a silhouette is basically just being when light hits a certain way and then behind it, it has the shape of something, or like I guess the shape of something. I guess that would be that. Let's look up all these words. Let's put them together. Let's figure out exactly what they mean, and then let's figure out what the hell is going on with our educational system, right? So she wore, I think that's gonna be I think those are pretty easy words for the kids that understood it. Silhouette. Oh my gosh. Also, this is just Google. I'm not. Silhouette meaning a dark shape, shadow, or outline of a person, object, or scene that appears in as a solid, featureless form, usually black. So, or shadow. Shadow is gonna be the perfect example of a silhouette. Like you see this. See that looks like a little peen. That's a silhouette of my finger. Extraordinary. I was shocked that the kids did not get that one. Means going far beyond what is usual or ordinary, regular or customary. So it stood out. It was impressive. It was remarkable. Surprisingly impressive. I never knew that the surprising part. And then gauche. Gauche meaning tacky, basically. And this is somebody that's tacky. I think we need to really dive into who's at fault here. 21% of Americans are illiterate. Let's do specifically for black kids. This is just AI, so I really need to find actual statistics. I honestly, I should do a Pew Research study, which we can get into that later, but I think that we can just, for all intents and purposes, let's just stick with a solid Google search. Even though it's 54% read below the 6th grade level, however, reading proficiency for black children in the US is significantly lower than the national average, with data consistently showing critical gaps in early grade learning reading skills. National test scores indicate that 4th grade, nearly 80 to 83% of black 4th graders read below proficiency levels, with the majority scoring in the below basic achievement bracket. And in 8th grade, similar trends continue into middle schools. Nearly 85% of black 8th graders lack reading proficiency. Do we think that's on purpose? Possibly. We'll get to that. That's another video. So what does this mean? What does this mean? So our children are reading at a worse level. Why? Why? And I know that everyone's thinking that, oh, you know, blame the parents, blame the parents. Some people are going to be blame the teachers, and these teachers want to get paid more. Some people want to say blame the race, blame the culture. And I think that all of those things are just going to be a solid cop-out. And I really am not here to even start this argument and start this debate. At the end of the day, we have a serious problem now, don't we? Now, what I really want to get into is implications. Now, implications for the most part, to say it in layman's terms, to say this very basically is going to be, the issue is, sorry, my cat is really showing his black ass. Get down! We want to sit here and talk about all the issues we have going on politically, all these other issues going on just everywhere, culturally and all these other things. I think we need to start with the basics, because reading is fundamental. So implications that we can think from this is that if people cannot read, therefore they are not being able to be helped properly, and they're also unable to help themselves when they get to a certain point. And that's going to be the most dangerous part of this conversation. So therefore, if you can't read, then you can't even go find the information out there for yourself, which is like mostly, for me, I think the most detrimental issue that we might have and might run into here. So let's use an example. If I am unable to read, and I need to go to the grocery store to pick up a product for my sick child. They do not have my normal products, so now, because I may go off of a label. So there's an assumption here that someone who cannot read is going off of other things on their memory, context clues, history, tradition, habit, all those things, right? They're going off of all of these things that they've done before. So let's just say that I need Pepto-Bismol. No, that's different because it's gonna be pink as hell. That's not gonna work. So let's just say that I need to go into the store and I need to get ibuprofen. And I see that they don't have Advil. I'm used to getting Advil. I'm used to getting Tylenol. They don't have any of these things. They're all off the shelf. Now, unless I know the word ibuprofen, which honestly, you could go off of the memory of like, I don't know this word. It has to be this one. You could do that. But my thing is like, maybe it's an ibuprofen. You need to know how strong of an ibuprofen that you need, right? And so therefore, you don't want to get a horse tranquilizer and kill Nana. So therefore, you're going to need to be able to read simple directions or instructions of things that you can and cannot do. Now, if we understand that there is going to be a below average reading level, you would think that we would not make words like ibuprofen and other things so, not uncommon, but like not even difficult. What's the word? Just, you would think that you would make it more recognized. You'd think that would take more interest in like understanding exactly how. You would think that we take more interested in exactly what words mean in English in general. So if someone's not doing that, I'm going to have to start to think that it's on purpose. So now you pick up the ibuprofen, you take it home, you give Nana 2, Nana takes it, Nana's out cold. All because you cannot read. Now that's a hyperbolic example. Hyperbolic is just going to be so extreme that, oh, that's actually likely to happen. But it's such an extreme, exaggerated instance for you to get the point or for you to not believe it because it's so abstract. So where does it start? Where does it start? Do we start with the children? Do we start with the home? Do we start with the parents? Do we start with the idea? So I think we have to think about why. Questions that come to mind are, why can't our children read? Where can our children go to get better at reading? And why is there no governmental interest in our children being able to read, especially Black children, since they're falling below at 85% level? And at some point, if they're falling behind that high, then at some point the community has to get involved to understand that our children can't read. And therefore, that's kind of what I'm going to be here for. Let's see, what are resources that you can have to pick up your skills in reading? Okay, so one of the things that one can use is building phonics. So that's going to basically be the skill of using words that sound like other words, but you don't really want to do that, so they sound familiar, like ibuprofen and I don't know. You just like what it sounds like, ibuprofen. You should definitely practice your fluency through reading. And then what else? You should try to expand your vocabulary. And also, so I don't know this to be true when it comes to reading, but I'm going to assume that it's true since it comes to language. So if you want to learn a different language, there's been studies that show that children need to be able to do all of these things from the ages of 3 and 15. Everything else is going to be basically from memory. So my thing is you really need to be reading to your child at a very young age, so therefore they can start picking up exactly what's reading. So when you learn how to read, you learn up other skills. So my thing is you're understanding how to use deductive reasoning, and you're understanding how to use critical thinking. You're understanding how to interpret the things that you're hearing. So my thing is, as someone that suffers reading, I'm not the strongest reader in the world. I'm actually really bad. Don't mind my dang on dirty sleeve, I know. So I'm actually a really bad reader. So this is not judgment coming from anyone. With that being said, I speed read. It's a different type of issue. I'm read. It's word. And there's nothing that's really speaking out to me. Honestly, it just seems like word salad. And then I usually have to go back, slow down, say it out loud, and then therefore I can start to break down what did I just say. Outside of that, I can't really get any context out of that. So that's something that I personally struggle with. I actually placed out of English when it comes to college, so I took English courses in junior college for my portfolio, not because I needed to. I actually placed, I got a 99. But I think that I did a lot of phonics, and I just knew a lot of things. And then when it wasn't until I got to my master's program that I really had to understand exactly what I was reading, read all the time, understand to read for understanding, and not the other way around. So my thing is, I'm assuming that if these children can't read, then I'm going to have to assume that they more than likely can't write. So now we're not even able to communicate with each other, and now we have a bigger problem. We cannot communicate with each other. We have a bigger problem. So in the video below, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down a bunch of links where you can find how to get tools in reading within your area. I'm also gonna try to drop down some like just basic books that like, yes, it might be children's book, but they're just easy reads, and I think they'd be really fun for, you know, people to just do that over and over again. I think words like silhouette are going to be very interesting, but you should definitely be looking up the word as soon as you don't know what it is, just so you can make sense of it. But I think it starts with, we have to get our children reading more. We have to. I think let's break this series up, because I think that I don't think we can tackle it all here. We'll probably have because I think it's very fundamental, and I think that we need to be doing a 3-video series on exactly what the importance of reading is, and then we can really tackle on the meat and potatoes of what I want to do in this channel. But I just felt like this video was going to be so important, so we could really dive deeper into what is going to be the disconnect between our communication. And it seems like we can't read or write to one another, so therefore we just have to go off of these orated messages, which honestly probably goes back to slavery, but that's a whole other issue, which we won't even make an excuse for at this point. We'll just go to solving our own problems again. Yeah, so I'm gonna put down some resources. I'm gonna start there. I'd love for you to join me on this journey, and I would love for us to kind of get this community built out. Here at Black Boys Guide, we really want to, I'm not here to tell you what to think. I am here to tell you what to think about, possibly, but I'm really teaching you how to think. And one of those things, you cannot think properly if you cannot get all the information. And one of the best ways to get all the information is to be able to read the text. And so therefore, I don't think that I can move forward in good conscience without understanding that one of the first things we need to understand is why it's so important to be able to read. Because a lot of things we're going to do here is going to be reading scientific studies, methodologies, ideologies, or just get a new type of epistemology and ontology of like how we're going to build the world around us and know what we know. And I think that this is going to be the good place to start. You know, this is supposed to be, I think I'm funny, and I'm gonna have to edit this so it can be funny. But y'all, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at all. So it's me, Carlton Leroy Lee, and this is Black Boys Guide. My people, self, my people, self, my people, self, my people, self.